This is part 2 of Spring Forth. My phone got too hot and the video dropped for the phone to cool, so I'm at home now and I wanted to pick up where we left off, which was that God releases the word and his power carries it out. The springing forth comes from God alone. However, we prepare ourselves to receive that release. Isaiah 43:18 says that we must forget the former things of old mindsets, old belief systems, worldly indoctrinations, all those things. I'm sure you can think of many things where we're influenced by parents or just the way they were raised up, and it really is not the biblical view over the worldly view. So we have to be careful there sometimes. But Isaiah 58:8 says, "Then shall your light break forth, and your health shall spring forth speedily." When we forget the things of old, the former hurts, the things that have set us back, the things that have hurt us, the things that maybe in our health we haven't felt good, or in many different ways, you can just label it. But it says when we forget the former things and we put our focus on God and we wait upon him and we do all the things that are required of him, then our health shall spring forth speedily, as it says in Isaiah 58:8. We allow God to loose the bands of wickedness that we've walked in past times, that we get our daily bread from him and we feed upon his word daily and spend time with him daily, that the oppressed person in us, that allow him to set us free in prayer, in fasting, and in all the things that he's called us to do to release those old hurts. We must stay in step with obedience and surrender to what he's asking us to do. We must forget the former worldly ways in which once we operated, with active obedience to God. If he says leave your job or change your diet, that is what we must do. The springing forth is not immediate. We must remain in him and keep his specific commandments to us, not clinging to our mother or father's worldly words of wisdom. Let go of old mindsets and hurts again, asking for God's power to deliver us and have a correct mindset toward him and the new thoughts that he is depositing into us as we offload the worldly ideas and opinions of others. So number 1, we forget former things. Number 2, we obey him and his specific commands to us. And then we will perceive and step into his calling. He releases the spring or the compression that will force us into our next move or calling. And it's only by his doing. We must wait and remain patient. There's a sailing analogy that if you put up the sail, the Spirit will move it along. So we are trusting in him, confidently waiting for his precision timing to get us to the destination in his time. When God announces to you that he's releasing a breakthrough, he almost always gives a command or condition for you to fulfill, i.e., putting up the sail, to fulfill what he's calling you to. Fix your heart, loose injustices against you, allow him to feed you on the bread of truth, walk uprightly, I'm being tongue-tied, to loose the wickedness that's in our own lives. If you have done these things, he may just be asking you to wait. It's not time yet. Ask him what is the next specific step to take, if there is one. You may merely just be in transition between laying all these things down and springing forth. The gap is not punishment. It is to reset the force, the spring. It's resetting where you were to where you're going. Elijah in 1 Kings 19 did everything God asked and ended up exhausted in a cave. And he didn't know what to do. He found himself under a broom tree asking God to just take his life. After his biggest, most incredible work that God asked him to do, where God showed up with the fire on Mount Carmel, and the prophets, the false prophets, were slain at the brook. And then one word from Jezebel, and he was running into that cave, fearing for his life. At that point, God didn't give him a new task. He just met him with a still, small voice, the Bible says. You may be very close to the new season God is calling you to. So be encouraged. And even if you're not seeing results as of yet, and you have done all you can do, then just stand in the calling to where He's called you, for He will surely bring it to pass.